Почитувани, за неколку минути почнуваме со свеченоста. Ке ве замолам да седнете на вашите места и да ве потсетам да ги исклучите мобилните телефони. Дами и господа, председател.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Assembly of the Republic of North Macedonia, Mr. Jovan Mitreski, and the First Deputy Prime Minister of the Government of the Republic of North Macedonia for European Affairs, Mr. Bojan Maričić, accompanied by the Minister of Defense.
Почитувани,
Dear guests, welcome to the ceremony on the occasion of marking the 75th anniversary of the NATO alliance, the 4th anniversary of the membership of the Republic of North Macedonia to NATO, and the Day of the General Staff of the Army. I would now invite you to stand up for the anthem of the Republic of North Macedonia, the anthem of NATO, and the anthem of the Army.
Повелете седнете.
Please be seated. Dear guests, it is my distinct honor and pleasure on behalf of the members of the Army to welcome the President of the Assembly, Mr. Jovan Mitreski, the First Deputy Prime Minister for European Affairs, Mr. Bojan Maricic, the Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Fatmir Bitiki, Minister of Defense, Mrs. Slavianka Petrovska, the Chief of General Staff of the Army, Lieutenant General Vasko Jurčinovski, the ministers in the government, the army generals, the representatives of the Office of the President, the Parliament, the government, the Ministry of Defense, and the Army, the representatives of the Diplomatic and Military Diplomatic Corps, former Chiefs of General Staff and retired generals of the Army, the representatives of state institutions, local self-government units, NGOs, associations, the representatives of the media, and all other guests at today's ceremony. I invite you to a minute of silence to honor the killed and deceased veterans fighting for the freedom of our country and the killed army members.
Нека им е вечна слава.
Eternal glory to them. Dear attendants, today, the 27th of March, will forever remain engraved in the history of the Republic of North Macedonia as the day when 4 years ago, the pursuit of one of our strategic goals became a reality. As the strategic goal, which is the greatest contribution to our security and stability and represents the strongest guarantee for the territorial integrity and sovereignty of the Republic of North Macedonia. We have become part of a family that cares for each other and is under a common shield against any aggression and develops a society without fear of any violent and aggressive actions from anyone, which was the main objective of the Washington Treaty that was signed by the Allies 75 years ago. The vision articulated in the treaty's preamble continues to guide the alliance today. Allies are determined to protect freedom, common civilizational heritage, and achievements based on the principle of democracy, individual liberty, and the rule of law. The NATO family of 32 member states is resolute in unifying their efforts for collective defense and the preservation of peaceful and secure progress and development. Today, we jointly and equally participate in all the processes and activities of the most powerful military political alliance of today, which unites almost 1 billion people and 50% of the world's GDP. Together, we are united and firmly determined to defend the achieved values and territorial integrity from any potential aggressor. We are stronger together, we are NATO. Dear guests, with today's activity, which marks 4 years of our membership in NATO after we became the 30th member country of the alliance on the 27th of March 2020, we are also marking the day when the highest governing body of the Army, the General Staff, started functioning for the first time 32 years ago, which symbolically heralded the success story of the Republic of North Macedonia and the Army of our country. Now, I would like to invite the Director of the General Staff, Brigadier General Simon Trajkovski, to take the floor. Distinguished President of the Republic of North Macedonia, of the Assembly of the Republic of North Macedonia, Jovan Mitreski, Deputy Prime Minister Bojan Maričić, distinguished Deputy Prime Ministers of the Republic of North Macedonia, distinguished Minister of Defense, distinguished Chief of General Staff, Lieutenant General Vasko Jučinovski, distinguished guests, distinguished members of the Army. It is a special honor and pleasure that this year, for the first time since the establishment of the Army of the Republic of North Macedonia, we are officially celebrating the 28th of March, the Day of the General Staff. The General Staff of the Army is the highest professional body that executes the operational and professional work related to the organization, training, and commanding the Army, commemorates this day by remembering the very formation that is the birth of our Army. The functioning of the General Staff and the management of the then Army structures began on the 28th of March 1992 by taking over the facility where today the General Staff and the Ministry of Defense are located. The beginnings were difficult, but work was done painstakingly and with great enthusiasm and patriotism of the then establishment in order to start with a planned organization, leadership, and command in the context of fulfilling the constitutional obligation of the Army to secure the border and safeguard the territorial integrity and sovereignty of North Macedonia. The appointment of General Mitre Arsovski as the first Chief of General Staff on the 17th of April 1992 and manning the management and working positions necessary to carry out the processes in the Army officially marked the beginning of functioning of the highest leading body of the Army. Shortly afterwards, the assignment of the officers was completed, the process of recruiting personnel for the units and filling the barracks began, concurrently with the processes of designing and procuring the new Macedonian uniform, renaming barracks, conducting preparations for the new organizational structure, furnishing, and so on. From those humble but significant beginnings, the Army, under the leadership of the General Staff, was constantly developing by precisely defining competencies, planning, and implementing combat readiness in all elements, thus completing successfully the organization and preparation of the Army for its constitutional and legal function. From a chronological perspective, from 1992 until today, the General Staff of the Army has been continuously committed to taking measures and activities in order to successfully manage and lead all strategic and development processes in the Army. These processes are crucial for the implementation of the defense missions and policy goals and the tasks of the Army. The implementing of defense reforms, the vision of the Ministry of Defense for implementing the defense reforms in the context of achieving our strategic goals and commitments of the Republic of North Macedonia. In 1995, the General Staff successfully devised and managed the process of the first organizational formation transformation, which officially marked the beginning of our path to NATO. Those were the first steps towards achieving compatibility with NATO partners and confirmed our clear strategic goal, full-fledged membership in the alliance. Concurrently, appropriate changes in the strategic documents, rules, instructions, guidelines, and other bylaws were introduced. Following the admission to the Partnership for Peace, an individual program was developed for partnership with the alliance that was constantly upgraded, and the obligations that derived from the partnership goals were successfully managed by the General Staff with a view to their successful implementation. Considering that interoperability represents the possession of compatible capabilities of the Army with NATO, in the further transformations, modifications of the structure and size of both the General Staff and the other existing commands and units were introduced in order to achieve a small and appropriate structure that may respond to the evolving challenges. At the beginning of 2000, the General Staff was transformed from directorates, and sections were formed which are in full compliance with the structure of NATO and the NATO member countries. The goal of all these restructurings in the new geopolitical situation and environment in the broader neighborhood of the Republic of North Macedonia, a priority goal is always to achieve appropriate combat readiness of the operational units and commands to be able to respond to their missions and tasks. All conducted activities and achievements of the General Staff in the past years have confirmed the confidence that the Army is on the right track, which was clearly laid out through the Membership Action Plan. And the new challenge 4 years ago, we became a full-fledged NATO member. The General Staff of the Army was transformed again after the signing of the accession protocol, of what we are very proud today. We are a NATO member country which, in the shortest possible term, in only 18 months, conducted full integration into the military structure of the NATO alliance. By that, we began a new chapter in the functioning of the Army and the General Staff as its top strategic command and the highest expert body of the Army. Let me assure you that in the future, the General Staff will remain fully committed to the fulfillment of the constitutional tasks and obligations with a view to achieving the strategic commitments of the Republic of North Macedonia and the Ministry of Defense. I will conclude my address by thanking, on behalf of the members of the General Staff, to all current and former members of the Army who are or were part of this institution for their unselfish dedication and their continuous engagement. Congratulations on the 32nd birthday of the Army General Staff, the 75th anniversary of NATO, and the 4th anniversary of our membership to the NATO alliance. Long live the Republic of North Macedonia. Long live the Army of the Republic of North Macedonia. Thank you. Dear guests, now the orders for awarding certificates of acknowledgement of the Minister of Defense and the Chief of General Staff will be read out. Order number 4/92/4 from the 27th of March, based on Article 28 of the Military Service Law of the Republic of Macedonia and Article 94 of the Collective Agreement of the Ministry of Defense, the rulebook for awarding plaques, badges, and certificates of recognition to personnel serving in the Army of the Republic of North Macedonia for their engagement and results in their work in their appropriate sections and their contribution to the enhancement of defense of the Republic of North Macedonia. And on the occasion of the 28th of March, the day of the General Staff of the Army, I hereby award the badge General Mihailo Apostolski to Brigadier General Simeon Trajkovski, Colonel Nenad Mikloš, Colonel Faruk Hasic, Colonel Igor Arsovski, Minister of Defense, Slavianka Petrovska. Order number 21/59/12 from the 27th of March 2024, pursuing to Article 28 of the Military Service Law of the Republic of Macedonia, Article 94 of the Collective Agreement of the Ministry of Defense and the Rulebook for awarding plaques, badges, certificates of acknowledgement to military and civilian personnel engaged in the Army of the Republic of North Macedonia for their work and achieved results in the functional and combat training and work in their sections and the Army, and their contribution to the enhancement of defense of the Republic of North Macedonia. And on the occasion of the 28th of March, the day of the General Staff of the Army, I hereby award a medium plaque of the Army to Major General Azim Nureddin, Colonel Goran Nelovski, Major Emil Angelovski, Staff Sergeant Blagoja Krstev, and Staff Sergeant Mirjana Stefanovska. I award a small plaque to Major Dragan Dimitrievski, Staff Sergeant Vesna Jankulovska, and Civilian Elizabeta Tashkovska. I hereby award a golden badge of the Army to Colonel Ivica Ampov, Colonel Violeta Kostadinova, Colonel Christian Georgov. I award a silver badge of the Army to Colonel Jetnor Marke, Colonel Zlatko Stojovski, Colonel Memedi Gazmet, Colonel Robert Tasevski, Lieutenant Colonel Agron Zekiri, Lieutenant Colonel Boban Stojanovski, Lieutenant Colonel Zoran Shantanasov, and Sergeant Rusa Nikolovski. I award a copper Army badge to Colonel Sinisha Stamenov, Colonel Irena Mineva, Colonel Pancho Stefanovski, Colonel Blaža Georgievski, Colonel Vladimir Stojanovski, Colonel Mile Dimitrievski, Lieutenant Colonel Biljana Simonovska, Staff Sergeant Verica Ilievska, Sergeant Vesna Cvetanovska, and Sergeant First Class Daniela Mukaetova. I award a golden badge of the Army for partnership and coordination and cooperation to Colonel Goran Arsov and Lieutenant Colonel Milan Simjanovski. I award a silver badge of the Army for partnership, coordination and cooperation to Colonel Petre Domazetov, Lieutenant Colonel Igor Pavlovsky, and Lieutenant Colonel Dragan Pavlovsky. General Staff of the Army, Chief of General Staff, Lieutenant General Vasko Jurčinovski. Order number 21/59/13 of the 27th of March 2024. For their effort and work and successful cooperation in conducting the training of members of foreign armed forces by the Army of the Republic of North Macedonia and members of the Ministry of Defense of the Ministry of Interior to the Republic of Macedonia, I award certificates of acknowledgement to the members of the Special Intervention Police Unit to Mr. Christian Trapeski, Mr. Christian Petreski, Mr. Enis Lekovic, and Mr. Bojan Lekovski. General Staff of the Army, Chief of General Staff, Lieutenant General Vasko Jurčinovski. Congratulations to all awardees once again. I would like now to invite the Minister of Defense, Mrs. Slavianka Petrovska, to take the floor. Dear President of the Assembly, dear First Deputy Prime Minister, dear Chief of General Staff, dear attendees, colleagues, collaborators, friends of the Army and the Ministry. I am addressing you with great honor and pleasure, with pride, that today we're celebrating 4 years of North Macedonia to NATO. 4 years of strengthened security and strengthened stability. On this day in 2020, the Republic of North Macedonia showed where it belonged, what are our common values, and what is our place as a country that has always stood for peace, democracy, security, and stability. This date has another historical importance, a key date in the creation of independent and sovereign Macedonia. While in all other former republics after the dissolution of Yugoslavia there were wars, thanks to the wise decisions of the first president, Kiro Gligorov, and the first Minister of Defense, Trajan Gocevski, the last soldier of former Yugoslav National Army left peacefully the territory of independent Macedonia, which created the conditions for creating the Army of the Republic of North Macedonia. The first 27th of March confirmed our resolution for independent and autonomous country, and the second 27th March enhanced our stability and security. Entering NATO, we clearly chose the way for stability and alliance despite destructive behavior. In 2022, at the Alliance Leadership Summit in Madrid, we adopted the new NATO strategic concept, which outlined our goals, indicated our tasks, and showed that NATO is not a threat to anyone. On the contrary, NATO exists to protect itself and not allow unilateral and reckless decisions of different regimes to be the ones that can encroach on our territory, our citizens. North Macedonia is clear. NATO is clear. We are not a threat, and moreover, we are more than united in our determination to defend ourselves and implement our deterrence and defense policy. Therefore, the Macedonian Army is member of the multinational forces of NATO in Latvia, Bulgaria, and Romania, where together with their allies are guarantors of the security of the alliance. At the regional level as well, North Macedonia deservedly became one of the pillars of security. Our history shows that we promote stability and equality. We promote dialogue. It shows that we never run away from responsibility. Macedonian soldiers are in Kosovo to help in the joint mission of KFOR. We are also in Bosnia and Herzegovina, where we have been supporting the mission of the European Union Althea for years. As a NATO member country, we must be prepared and strengthen the system of deterrence of our society responsibly. While on European soil there is still war going on when the unjustified Russian aggression is destroying thousands of homes and kills men, women, and children in Ukraine, we are witnessing the malicious efforts to destabilize the region politically and also in terms of security. Therefore, the malicious actors don't want security and development of the countries in the region, and they're trying every possible way to destroy and underpin democracy. And this is a serious challenge that we are facing, and we must overcome this challenge. On the day of the General Staff, we promise that the Army will continue to develop and modernize because it is the pillar of our statehood. The process of modernization and equipping will continue equally by continuing the most important investment in human potential, the pillar of our defense. Long live the day of the General Staff. Congratulations of the 4th anniversary of our membership to NATO. Thank you. Dear guests, we will now follow the military acrobatic performance exerted by the Honor Guard Battalion.
Го поканувам
I would like now to invite the First Deputy Prime Minister for European Affairs, Mr. Bojan Maričić, to take the floor. Dear President of the Assembly Mitreski, distinguished Minister of Defense Petrovska, distinguished Chief of General Staff Jurčinovski, dear colleagues from the government, ambassadors, dear guests. Today is a special day for all of our citizens who want a peaceful, stable, and prosperous country. Today, we are all more at ease together, knowing that we are part of the most advanced, most powerful defense, military, political alliance in the world. Because we are among the democrats and democracies, the visionaries, but also because we are here all for one and one for all, side by side with the most developed in the world. We are celebrating this anniversary because 4 years ago, on this very day, we sealed the guarantees for our territorial integrity and the security of all our citizens. And unfortunately, very soon after our membership, we had the opportunity to see what the alternatives look like around the world, to confirm to ourselves that there never was and never will be another alternative for us. The wars and hotspots that occasionally release some sparks, the images of horror and human suffering in each one of us cause deep sadness on the one hand, but also awareness that NATO membership is the best goal that we have managed to provide for our citizens. Every difficult decision that brought us here today and to this moment was worth it. It is said that in 2024 we're still talking about wars, and I cannot help but mention Ukraine and the unjust military aggression of Russia. We are here and we will continue to be here for Ukraine as long as it's necessary and until it fights for the freedom of its brave people, for its sovereignty, and for its territorial integrity. Dear attendants, in 1993, our Assembly unanimously adopted the resolution for accession to NATO, which began our path toward membership. In 2024, from the home of our defense, we are talking about our contribution as a member of the alliance. That journey, as long as it was and as difficult as it was, is an incredible success that a political generation can say has achieved for its citizens. On our path toward membership, but also throughout these years, NATO has united us and raised us above all political party affiliations. North Macedonia has always been a mosaic in which different peoples and religions lived, but the desire for a peaceful, stable, and advanced life is complete with the best guarantee for security. And that is exactly what our membership in the alliance means. Membership in itself is a privilege, but for us, membership is also an obligation to strengthen ourselves as a country and contribute to collective defense. One of the key tasks we set for ourselves was to achieve the investment of 2% of GDP in the defense budget. We achieved that goal, but more importantly, we achieved the goal of investing in the modernization of our army. At the same time, I would like to use this opportunity to congratulate on the Day of the General Staff, which is being celebrated for the first time. I wish you to continue to be an example of the highest professionalism and integrity that we are all proud of. Our army trains and exercises according to the most modern standards, ready to quickly respond to trends and threats that are dynamic. The focus of the Ministry of Defense and the government is the combat readiness and the policy of defense and deterrence of the alliance. The uncompromising nature of this stake positions us as a valued NATO member that is principled and credible. The alliance, which is celebrating this year the 75th anniversary of its foundation and which started with 12 members, today counts 32, and is more numerous, larger, and more united than ever before. The brutal military aggression carried out by Russia against Ukraine disturbed the peace on European soil, but it failed to destroy NATO. On the contrary, it contributed to a stronger and visionary NATO. The unity of all our allies motivated us all to be better and to outline clear plans and paths for a long-term movement of the alliance that is ready to quickly respond to any challenge brought along by contemporary threats and actors. It does not matter if these challenges come from sea, sky, land, or the digital space. And that is exactly why NATO is the most powerful political military alliance that protects the peace of over 1 billion citizens with democratic values. The success of NATO is only an inspiration for the success on our path that we should continue striding towards the European Union. These two strategic goals and our commitments are something that all citizens and existing and future generations will be thankful to us. May we have a happy anniversary. May we celebrate the Day of the General Staff. May we celebrate many years in peace and stability. Thank you. Long live the Republic of North Macedonia. Dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for participating the ceremony on the occasion of marking the 75th anniversary of the NATO alliance, the 4th anniversary of the membership of the Republic of North Macedonia to NATO, and the Day of the General Staff of the Army. On this occasion, the National Post Office of the Republic of North Macedonia made 2 postal stamps that we have an opportunity to see in the exhibition. We hereby complete the official part of the ceremony, and we now invite you for a cocktail. Thank you.